Hey, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
I'm Vinny, and today we'll talk about some major news update about retirement savings. It finally caused me to do a damn thing that I should have done years ago, and I finally got on the ball. I'm going to give you the news, and I'm going to tell you what I did about it. All right, we'll get to it.
Slow. Okay, here we go. Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. Solid
Well,
production quality here.
yeah, I mean, fantastic. Two stupid guys that don't know social media at all. It's amazing. But this news came out this week, and I think this is really important to pay attention to, because ultimately, right, the most likely path to success for most people is through retirement vehicles, through tax sheltered retirement vehicles. Did you see this news article about how the contribution limits got up? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So 401k one went up from like this 22.5 to 23. They have the catch-up contribution between, if you're over age 50 and, you're going, oh, crap, I probably should save a retirement that's coming up in like 6 months. I should start saving more. They increased that as well. The IRA contribution limit went from $6,500 to $7,000 for next year. All right. And, there's an additional catch-up once again over age 50. Now, if you kind of do any sort of investigating in terms of learning about how you should structure your own financial retirement, I don't know how much your process you've given to your retirement planning, but it's something I'm paying attention to, especially as I move into my later 30s. So now it's a little bit more important for me because I screwed it up early on in my life, right? You got to get on the ball.
I heavily disagree with this this was not meant to be a crutch for retirement. It was supposed to be pensions in this. So this was never designed to just be our sole retirement thing. I am
Yeah,
very upset with this entire thing, but no, I can do that.
I get that. Yeah, exactly. But you kind of have to do the best you can, right? So the other thing that they bumped up too is that not only did they increase the limits, they actually increased the income limits as well. So now, this is my bias. This is where I read this because I'm married and we filed jointly. I can earn up to $230,000 per year and still contribute to a Roth IRA. That's a sexy thing, isn't it?
Okay, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably like I'd be curious if you looked at it. The one of the sweet spots for like a household income is probably to be just under that Roth limit, where you earn as close to that as you can without going over it, as opposed to like if you had to swing to the other side of it, how much more money would you have to make up for that kind of loss of that advantage of that tax sheltered account?
Yeah.
Interesting
Not to
question.
mention, it actually really bones you later in life because 50% of people get divorced. So then this whole rule kind of screws them later. There is that.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of taking it. I had considered that angle. But they like I said, they increased the kind of limits here for the Roth contributions, so that's a good thing to kind of pay attention to. Um, this is another thing that I don't know if you've ever seen a chart like this before, but basically this is telling you in order to have $1,000,000 when you turn 65, how much money would you have to put in on a monthly basis, right? You have a little one at home who's not even quite one, right? So imagine if you started putting $13 a month towards that child's retirement account right now. They'd have $1,000,000 by the time they turn 65. It's pretty wild.
True. True. I'm going to say $1,000,000 by the time she's 65 is like $100,000 to us right now. Still a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it could buy something kind of cool at least, but $13. I mean, that's cheaper than a freaking Netflix subscription at this point.
it
So,
is. I mean, yes. And I would way rather do this than put it in a 529 for very specific reasons that I highly disagree with the 529. I'm very pessimistic today. I'm just
yeah,
sorry.
I noticed that. Yeah. Have a little cup of sugar in your cereal next time, okay? So the money guys, that's who this chart is from. Love to tout this number right here, the 88, right? So basically they have the koozies that go on beer cans that say like this $1 beer cost me $88 in retirement savings.
Right.
Meaning that, remember how many $1 beers you could crush when you were 20 or 21?
Yeah.
It was legal.
If
Okay.
we if you can get every 20-year-old to understand and really understand compound interest, I think all of us would do it a little bit differently, right? We all be like, I'm not gonna go out tonight. This is retirement night.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what it is.
There's that old saying about how youth is wasted on the young, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. All the opportunity, but as you start to age, that multiplying factor becomes smaller and smaller, right? To be a millionaire by 60, if or 65, if you start at 60, you have to put like 14 grand a month into your retirement account, which is just an insane number. Okay, but the point is, start early, and even if you start small, it can make a big difference if you start early enough. You ever heard this saying before? I didn't realize it was a Chinese proverb, but I love the saying.
Is this a Chinese proverb? I didn't know this was a Chinese
Apparently,
proverb, but yes, I have
uh,
heard this. It was a great saying.
according to Google it is, but the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now, right? So just like get off your butt. Even if you blew opportunity a long time ago to have that sexy $88, you know what? Still start today. It's the best opportunity you're going to have. So with that news, I did a thing. All right, I finally took advantage of this Fidelity offer. Whereas if you open a Roth IRA and deposit $50 or more, they give you $100. I haven't received my $100 yet. They said they will give it to me within 25 days. But I opened a Roth IRA in my wife's name and my name. So therefore, I should collect an additional $200 from Fidelity. Plus, I can now start contributing to it on a monthly basis. There is a catch, though, that I discovered that I did not know before I opened this account a little bit. In order to set up automatic investments, right, which is the way you should do it, just so you set it, forget it, you never even think about it, and all of a sudden you look at the account one day and there's a lot of money in there. You cannot do that with a regular ETF, because first thing I did when I put the $100 in for each of us is I bought SPY.
Right.
Interesting aside, my wife was like, I don't know what SPY is, so I have failed as a husband, but whatever. You have to buy a mutual fund.
Right.
So they have it's FXAIX, I think it's S&P 500 mutual fund that I'm going to do. Is it's a low cost ETF, is 0.015% in terms of fees every year. So that's the one vehicle I think I'm going to use. I'm going to do a little bit more research into that, see if maybe I should be using Global Fund. I'm not quite sold on that yet, but it's just me being an idiot. But
it's very annoying that you can't just put it where you want. I don't get it. It's my money. Why can't I just put it in SPY or Qs? I don't get it.
I don't know, man. If the question was if you could just put it where you want it, you should really be talking to your wife about that more.
Jesus.
This channel is taking a real twist.
Yes.
Just two guys making stupid jokes at each other. But this is a little chart I ran through here. If you were sort of maxing out now this $7,000 per year and assumed an 8% compound annual growth rate, which is below the S&P 500 trend of the last several decades, which is closer to 11%. This is how much money you'd have when you retire. If you started at 2.7 million, if you did this for yourself, and if you did this you and a partner, 5.4 million. All right, and you see the number is still pretty sexy for a 30, 1.2 and 2.4. Get to 40. Now you're talking about $500,000 if it's just a single person maxing it out, which is still a nice chunk of change. It could buy you more than the average house in the United States or median home in the U.S. and the average, both of them. And $1 million if you did this married couple. Get to 50, $190K for a single and $380,000 for married couple. I did not assume you increased to the maximum because you get the catch-up contribution over age 50. I did not use that in my math. I made it simpler just so we can compare apples to apples a little bit better. But in theory, you would have that bump where you could, start increasing another $1,000. I'm sorry, $500 per year once you hit age 50. But it's an interesting idea. I just didn't work that into my math. Did you ever look at these numbers before?
I have. Yeah, I mean, it's the compound interest thing. Like it's absolutely incredible. I tried to do this on the fly while you were talking, so this may not be the most accurate percentage. What percentage of Americans do you think have any savings for retirement? Working age Americans.
I want to say that there's a number that was like 54% of American households can't afford $1,000 emergency savings. So I would say 46% of households have more than $1,000.
Said less than 50. So yeah, that's probably close. And that's for retirement savings. That's not good. That's a problem.
Yeah. No, that is a scary number. And I get it. It's a tough place to be in, but you have to break out of that rut some way, shape, or form. And then this is showing you how powerful it can be if you break out of that rut, even with small contributions. That's the crazy part.
I will say I've noticed because we have this channel, We Like Finance. I have heard this saying, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I have heard that like people say like there's just no way I can save, right? Especially in our industry, like medical assistant stuff. Like there's no way I can save, right? And then they're going to nicer places than I am for dinner 3 times a week, or Starbucks 5 times.
That was my.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Starbucks.
Yeah, that was the joke. Yeah.
Come on. Like it's your spending habits. It's not that you can't save. It's now there's a caveat. There is a percentage of people that are doing everything they can, and it doesn't matter, right?
Yes, I will say that people blame the coffee thing, but say it's $5 per cup, which is actually probably less than it is now. But like $25 per week, times year would be what, like $1,250 a year.
Yeah.
Is that really gonna make the difference? Probably not. But the mindset, I think, can certainly make a difference. This is that Dave Ramsey where like you got the dog and the kids have to think that they're about to be sold next. To get to that sort of scorched earth, I will make this happen no matter what mindset. I think I can contribute to that. That's an argument you can make.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
A little bit compounds. I also, when it talks to people, they're like, yeah, I have Hulu, Netflix, Paramount. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, just get rid of all that. I don't know. You
Yeah.
don't need that.
And I think people kind of discount the plan, right? Like people seem like it's so hard to start that they never want to actually start to make a plan and be like, all right, am I doing the right thing here? I ask myself this question all the time. Is this the right career trajectory for me? Should I be getting another degree in something? Should I be trying to make a transition to something else? And like, I think I'm somewhere in the middle where like I've accomplished some things, but I can certainly accomplish so much more. So you have to constantly be reevaluating your own goals in life and try to determine whether or not you're on the right course to achieve those.
Right. Yeah. Don't go to medicine, folks. All right, guys.
Yeah,
Have a
that's the
good
next
one.
one.